Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. Now, the news from this past weekend was dominated by the fact that Sir Frank Williams sadly passed away, and it is hugely sad because, as I said, some of my favourite touring car memories are of the Williams Renault team, which gave the series some legitimacy to have such a big entity racing in it, and we have Sir Frank to thank for that. So yeah, I was deeply saddened by his passing. But we did have 3 championships coming to an end. There wasn't a lot of racing this past weekend, but the 3 championships that did go ahead, we did see champions crowned, and all the title races came down to the last races, which was pretty neat. It was quite an exciting weekend in that sense. So we'll start with Super GT, and I made the mistake of saying that the title race had come down to Naoki Yamamoto versus Najiri and Fakazumi, and no one else could possibly win it because everyone else was really far away. I was 100% completely wrong. It looked like Yamamoto had sealed the deal, and it would just be him because his teammate didn't take part in the first race. But with 7 laps left of the championship, he got taken out by a wayward car, and his title was over. His car was broken, he was out of the race. That was it. Yamamoto's title hopes done. And that left Sho Suboi and Sakaguchi, who hadn't looked like title contenders coming into this race, to take a surprise win. It was Sho Suboi's first ever win in the Super GT Championship, and it's crowned him as champion of 2021, along with Sakaguchi. So, an amazing shock. I did not see it coming. I find it hard to recommend Super GT because quite often racing is pretty dull, but if you're going to try it, Fuji 2021 is a good race to start with because there was a lot of action and drama throughout this race. It was a pretty good one. It's weird recommending you jump on with the last race of a championship, but honestly, this was a really good race. I'd really recommend sitting down and watching some Super GT. It has some of the coolest looking cars in motorsport. So definitely, if you're going to check something out that you haven't seen before, check out Super GT. It'll be interesting to see what happens in 2022 because this was the last year of the Nissan Skyline GTR. So I presume there's going to be a new Nissan next year. Hopefully a less troubled championship because COVID has played its part in that. And yeah, I would really recommend watching Super GT. More than I would recommend watching World Rallycross, mostly just because their subscription service is ridiculously expensive. But also, the fields have been kind of small this year, a lot of the star names haven't been there, and I don't know what the future holds for the series. Johan Kristoffersson will be back in 2022, and I presume the Hansen brothers probably will be as well, along with some of the other big names. I'm sure Nicholas Gronholm will be there. But they are struggling to fill out the field. I think this last race had 13 entrants, which isn't a huge amount. I mean, you sort of want 16 to 20. The racing was pretty good, but it was all about Kristoffersson versus Timmy Hansen. And Timmy Hansen kind of shot himself in the foot in both rounds because he made contact with people, got 5-second penalties in both, really hurt his title chances. In the end, Kristoffersson won the first day, Nicholas Gronholm won the second, and what that meant was Kristoffersson and Timmy Hansen had the exact same points to end the championship, but Kristoffersson wins on countback, so he is now a 3-time World Rallycross champion. Timmy Hansen, very unlucky. It's been a bad year for him, because at one point he was comfortably leading the World Rallycross and the Nitro Rallycross, and it looks like he's going to lose both. And he's not going to win an Extreme E either, so hugely disappointing for him. Honestly, it looked at one point like he could stand a chance of winning all 3 championships, and now it looks like he's not going to win anything. Kristoffersson, he's a beast. Honestly, to me, he is the best race driver around at the moment. Just in terms of he's so adaptable, he seems to be able to race everything, and he has a good chance of winning the Extreme E Championship in a few weeks' time to go along with his World Rallycross success this year. And it's another championship to add to his CV, which is already pretty long. I think we covered it pretty recently on his channel, so you can go back and I pretty much list everything he's won. So it's been another good year for Kristoffersson, and I think that will probably continue into the next couple of years as well. Nicholas Gronholm too had his best ever year. He finished 3rd in the championship. He's taken 3 wins. So him and Hyundai have been moving up, and it'll be interesting to see if they can keep that progress up. Kevin Hansen, I think, was 4th, so that's pretty much what you expect from the championship, really. There weren't many major contenders other than those 4 in the championship anyway. So the fact that they are the top 4 is not surprising. The World Rallycross is good, but it's not good enough to pay for the subscription service. And I didn't watch these rounds, I only watched the highlights. Which, you know, before, when they were just uploading it for free on YouTube, I watched everything. And it's disappointing that I could stream it. I have found streams of it, but I decided not to bother. I might go back and watch the full events, but honestly, I'm not that fussed. Finally, the World Touring Car Cup. And honestly, Yann Ehrlacher looked like he'd sewn this up already. He had quite a big points gap ahead of Frederik Vervisch. But it was a chaotic race in Russia, or chaotic couple of races in Russia. It was wet, which in touring car terms is the key ingredient for chaos. Esteban Guerreri was one of the drivers in with a chance of winning the championship. He had a massive crash in race 1, damaged both ends of his car. That was his championship over. And Frederik Vervisch looked like he could have won the race. But in the end, it was the Cupras. Mikel Azcona took a win. The Cupras haven't really looked on the pace that often this year, but at this round, they were really on it. In the second race, we saw the odd incident as well. Ivan Muller crashed into the back of Azcona in a rare mistake for him. He didn't really have much chance of winning the championship anyway, but any hope was gone by then. I don't know if he actually could have won it in the second race. He may have been too far back anyway. Azcona continued, but I think he did eventually retire. And Giles Magnus retired as well, which I think cost him one of the championships he was going for. I think the Junior Cup or something. There's a lot of championships in the World Cup, World Touring Car Cup. Not just the drivers and teams championships. After all that chaos though, Frederik Vervisch had a really good weekend. He did close the gap to Yann Ehrlacher, but in the end Ehrlacher had too big a points difference. He didn't have a great race in either one day. I think he finished 6th and 7th, so nothing special, but it was enough to take the championship. His 2nd in a row. Strange to think about where he's going to go from here. He's won this championship twice now. Is this it? Is he just going to keep racing at this level? Honestly, I'd like to see drivers from this go on to other things. Like, it'd be interesting to see Yann Ehrlacher in the DTM, maybe the World Endurance Championship. Hopefully, you know, some opportunities open up for him, but I imagine we'll probably see him back in this next year. Rob Huff took the 2nd win of the day and the last of the year. I think he's the 12th different winner in like 16 races or something insane like that. Rob Huff's a good driver, he's been there a long time. Hopefully the series will go back to Macau next year, so that we can see Rob Huff there, because he's won more races at Macau in the touring car class than anyone. He's an insanely good driver, doesn't win a lot of championships. But Cupra, they look like they've improved a lot, so they could be a threat next year. And Mikel Azcona in particular, TCR Europe champion this year, he's won races in Pure ETCR, and he's won races in the World Touring Car Cup, so he's one of the top drivers in the series. Definitely a threat. I'm sure next year Cupra will be in a much better position. Tarquini, of course, this was his last ever race. He has now retired. He may be back for the odd race here and there, but his full-time career is over. He is nearly 60, and I did a video about him retiring, but again, just a massive goodbye to Tarquini, and another thank you for the memories. It's kind of been it's not been the best season of his career. I think he ended the championship in like 15th, something like that. Did take a win earlier in the year. He's had some good drives. Of course, he was champion in 2018 as well, so he's had his moments, and he will be sorely missed. That was it for this weekend. As I said, there was not a lot going on, but we go to pretty much the last few weekends of motorsport action left. So on the 5th of December, we have the final rounds of the V8 Supercars, the TCR Australia, the new Tasman series, which has only run over 2 rounds anyway. Nitro Rallycross has their last round of the year, which again, this is its first season. It's kind of like a prototype of what it will be in the future. So that's going to be bigger and better next year. But for now, we're going to see the last round of that as well. And also Formula 1 and Formula 2 are back for their penultimate races, which again, they're going to be interesting for their respective championships. The week after that, I believe it is just Formula 1 and Formula 2. And the final races there. And then the week after that, we have the last Extreme E round. And that's pretty much it for 2021. So remember to subscribe, because I will be covering a lot of it. And it's worth subscribing to this channel now, because I've got some really interesting stuff coming up. Not only do we have the touring car tournament running on this channel, which you can go watch the videos and leave your vote for who you think deserves to be in the next round of that. I am going to be doing... Last year I did a ranking every Ferrari Formula 1 driver ever series. I'm going to be doing that for Williams this year. I was kind of finding it hard to choose between McLaren and Williams anyway, but with Frank Williams passing, I think doing it on Williams is the perfect timing. One Race Wonders will return as well. I'm going to be watching more Formula E. There's going to be more prediction videos as championships start in January, namely Formula E and WRC. Dakar is kicking off in January as well. There's some smaller formulas, so we'll be looking at Toyota Racing Series and Formula 4 United Arab Emirates and Formula 3 Asia as they kick off. And of course, some of the old series I've been doing, like Formula 1 Underrated, will be back. Best in the Country will be back. So other things like news as well will be covered on this channel. There's plenty. I'm going to be uploading loads of stuff if I can, depending on time, which is honestly the greatest thing in the world, is chasing time and making sure you've got enough of it. And obviously we have Christmas coming up. So as a present to me, subscribe to the channel. So thank you for watching. Leave your thoughts on these championships and the championships coming down in the comments below. Leave a like and tell your friends. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.